From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Tuesday, December 9th. It's going to be a little bit of a warmer day today. We will have clouds outside and winds, but temperature-wise, we're going to get up to the 40s. Low is going to be around 36 degrees. Rain is going to return tonight, going to change over to snow by tomorrow afternoon, but hey, we're going to start dipping down over the weekend. It is December after all.
What can 160 years of experience teach you about the future? When it comes to protecting what matters, Pacific Life provides life insurance, retirement income, and employee benefits for people and businesses building a more confident tomorrow. Strategies rooted in strength and backed by experience. Ask a financial professional how Pacific Life can help you today. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York. Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
The full state Senate will take up a bill to redraw Indiana's congressional districts tomorrow. The state Senate Elections Committee passed the bill 6-3 along party lines last night. Some Republicans say they could vote against the map once the full Senate debates it. President Trump is pressuring Republicans to push for the new map to help the party win more House seats in next year's midterm elections. The committee meeting lasted more than 6 hours yesterday with almost 100 people testifying.
Promise of one person, one vote is at the heart of our democracy. That promise depends on fair maps that protect every community's voice. This mid-decade redistricting effort threatens to break that promise. It risks silencing communities, undermining fair representation, and eroding trust in our democratic process.
Senators, I urge you not to just merely be in office, but to be in power, and to use that power to save our federal republic.
The Senate is set to take up a second reading of the proposed map tomorrow. The final vote is scheduled for Thursday. The Morgan County Sheriff says a police dog is recovering after an intruder attacked him, then deputies shot the man. News 8's Kat Sandoval spoke to the sheriff to find out what happened.
The police dog's name is Bullet. Police sent him into a home during a break-in. The suspect hit Bullet multiple times with a blunt object. Morgan County Sheriff Richard Myers says the first hit knocked the dog unconscious, and that man continued to hit the dog 2 to 3 more times until a deputy or deputies fired their weapon.
He would not comply. He would not show his hands. These dogs, they save officers' lives every day.
Officers from the Morgan County Sheriff's Office says the shooting happened around 1 p.m. on Belt Lane in Morgan County, near Patton Lake. Homeowners weren't home, but they found something suspicious on their camera and called police. That's when deputies found the intruder in the home.
It is very remote out there. I'm sure you were out there. It's a one-lane, pretty much road by itself at the end of a dead-end lane there. So the relationship there, how that was picked out, is something that I'm interested to see how that comes out in the investigation.
Bullet, the dog, was taken to an animal hospital. He is recovering. Police say he's in good spirits, barking and wagging his tail. The suspect was transported via helicopter to a local hospital. We don't know the status of his condition. Tracy Fisher, who's lived in the neighborhood for 10 years, says she's never seen anything like this before.
We're usually pretty secluded. We don't get much traffic at all. So with all the people coming through now, it's a little different.
She says she and her neighbors notice a suspicious man lurking in their neighborhood for a week now.
He would stop at our houses and just look for the longest time. And I almost called the police on Sunday, but I was like, I didn't.
She recalls that stranger watching her home for more than 45 minutes. It's unclear if that was the same intruder. When I asked her about the deputy's action, Fisher says they were justified.
The dog was an officer, so if you would have done that to an officer, you would have got the same reaction.
No guns were found on the suspect. The sheriff didn't specify how many shots were fired or how many officers fired their weapon. He did say that the deputy or deputies involved were placed on administrative leave. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Kat Sandoval for Wish TV, wishtv.com.
Prosecutors have not said whether a woman will face charges for shooting her husband. It's a story we brought to you as breaking news yesterday here on Daybreak. Police say the woman shot the man during a domestic situation early yesterday morning on the southwest side of Indianapolis. It happened at a home on West Caven Street near I-70 in South Minnesota. Investigators say the couple's 2 children were inside the home at the time but are not hurt. Police say the woman is cooperating with investigators and is not in police custody for now. YATVAC stands for Youth Alternatives to Violence and Crime. It's our station campaign here at Wish TV. School resource officers are working with the Fishers Police Department to study the signs of potential criminal activity among young people and how to prevent it before it happens. News 8's Derek Dennis takes a look.
It's a heartbreaking and frightening scenario, a school shooting in a place where children should be safe. But before the police arrive, with guns drawn looking for a perpetrator, school resource officers are often the very first responders.
Violence in schools across the country is real. It occurs. The SROs are in place to help mitigate that risk and to help prevent the risk.
Sergeant Christopher Owens with the Fishers Police Department helped to lead this 2-day advanced school resource officer training. In this classroom setting, officers from across the state of Indiana and a few neighboring states spent hours getting a heads up on several fronts, assessing school threats, crime prevention through environmental or building design, behavioral analysis, and
I think one of the bigger ones is social media investigations. A lot of threats are leaked online prior to them committing an act. So I definitely think that's one of the bigger ones that we are covering this week is how to investigate social media crimes and social media threats, and to use that knowledge to keep our schools safe.
Sergeant Owen says youth violence and crime in the streets is often foreshadowed or hinted at in the classroom, and these school resource officers are training to spot the warning signs and take action.
We've had instances where students have reported either anonymously or in person to an administrator something that they have saw or seen or heard, and it has resulted in a threat assessment where we potentially prevented a violent act from occurring.
But it's not all training. The conversation, the best practices being shared, and yes, even some of the mistakes that have been made as first responders leads to learning and ultimately safer schools.
It's extremely beneficial to kind of learn what other districts are experiencing, the challenges. That's some of the stuff that we're talking about this week is what challenges everyone's experiencing and how they're overcoming those challenges. As far as the best defense of school safety is a holistic approach. So SROs, but also the students and the staff, and even the parents, because the students are the ones that hear and see everything in the school. And just kind of goes back to the see something, say something.
So that these school resource officers can do something before it's too late.
Nobody can predict every possible violent outcome. So I think it's definitely important that we kind of work together to keep schools safe.
In Indianapolis, I'm Derek Dennis for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
IU football quarterback Fernando Mendoza is a finalist for the Heisman. New York's Downtown Athletic Club announced the quarterback as one of 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy yesterday. Mendoza could be the first Hoosier to win college football's top award after helping the program win the Big Ten championship and land the top seed in the college football playoff. He passed for almost 3,000 yards and had 33 touchdowns after transferring to IU from California. Closest an IU player has come to winning the Heisman was running back Anthony Thompson's runner-up finish in 1989. Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love is also up for the trophy. He rushed 1,372 yards and set a school record with 21 total touchdowns this season. The other 2 finalists are both quarterbacks, Ohio State's Julian Sayin and Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia. The winner of the Heisman will be revealed on Saturday. In Colts Watch, the team could bring back a familiar face to help at quarterback, even though he has not played in almost 5 years. The NFL Network is reporting the Colts will bring in Phillip Rivers for a workout today. Rivers is now 44 years old. The last time he played was actually for the Colts in January of 2021 when the Colts lost a wild card game to the Bills. Right now, the team has no healthy quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is out for the year with a torn Achilles. Anthony Richardson is out after breaking the bone around his eye in October. And now the Colts say Riley Leonard is week to week with a knee injury. There are a lot of questions about the season and the future now that Daniel Jones is done for the year. Last night, Wish TV Colts insider Kevin Bowen and sports director Anthony Calhoun talked about what's next for the quarterback, who was set to be a free agent after the season. Plus, they look ahead at what could be a must-win game for the Colts on Sunday in Seattle.
So this complicates things big time. And you have this hanging cloud over the franchise of if this season bottoms out, who are the decision makers making the call on Daniel Jones as well? You can't ignore that. And I do want to commend, first off, just a hat tip to Daniel Jones. I mean, you just saw those images. I mean, he gave this franchise quarterback play that they haven't had in quite some time. By all accounts, he's beloved in that locker room. And to see it end in that fashion, you see his emotion. That's a lot of emotion for Daniel Jones. You just feel terrible for him yesterday.
Okay, so next year for the Colts, they get set to take on Seattle coming up this Sunday on the road. Riley Leonard, there's a good chance he still will be able to play as the backup quarterback here for the Horseshoe. That being said, 4 games to go. I believe this, man. If they can find a way to get 2 victories, I think this team still makes the playoffs after all the work they did in the front end, going 7-1, 8-2, when you think about that. Give me your thoughts on Shane Steichen. What does he need to do to try to keep this thing together from really going down the wrong way here without your star quarterback?
Yeah, you know, when you're in the month of December, AC, and we talk playoff chances, it's usually you've got to do your part and you need help. You look at the standings, the Colts really don't need a lot of help. I mean, yes, they need a little bit, but the hardest part is, can they win 2 games, to your point? You know, it's at Seattle, it's San Francisco on Monday Night Football, and then Jacksonville and Houston these last 2 games. I mean, that is a very, very difficult stretch to close out the season. And like you said, you could be doing it with Riley Leonard, who, you go back to that knee injury, for anybody that watched Riley Leonard play at Notre Dame last year, his ability to make plays with his legs is a vital component to him playing quarterback. He is not ready to be a pocket passer for 30, 35 snaps a game in today's NFL. Maybe that'll grow at some point in his game, but he has got to be able to make some things happen with his legs. So for Shane Steichen and company, Jonathan Taylor's got to get back to being Jonathan Taylor in the run game, and your defense cannot lay the massive egg that it laid yesterday.
Pacers watch now. The team loses a big lead but holds on for the win against Sacramento. Andrew Nembhard led the Pacers with 28 points. Pacers were up by as much as 19 points in the third quarter. They lost the lead in the fourth but held on to win 116-105. Next up for Indiana, former Pacer Paul George and the 76ers this Friday in Philadelphia. Today, the Federal Reserve is starting a 2-day meeting, and there's a lot of speculation that the board will cut interest rates. Amy Kiley reports.
The Federal Reserve might seem far away, but it impacts people at home, including the cost of literal homes. Today, the Fed is starting a 2-day meeting in which it's expected to cut the federal funds rate. That would put downward pressure on interest rates for mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and other debt. The central bank also tries to balance maximum employment with control of inflation. In other words, it affects people's jobs and the prices they pay. But many experts predict just a 1/4 point cut tomorrow.
We shouldn't look to the Federal Reserve to solve all of our ills or believe that a small shift in interest rates can make a big difference.
The Supreme Court is considering a case that could affect the Fed. It challenges President Donald Trump's firing of a former FTC commissioner. The case could affect his power over other independent agencies like the Fed. A hearing yesterday suggests most justices might side with Trump.
Independent agencies are not accountable to the people.
There is no such thing in our constitutional order as a fourth branch of government that's quasi-judicial and quasi-legislative.
Trump wants to fire Fed board member Lisa Cook and fill the panel with loyalists. He wants to force a large rate cut regardless of economic data. Investors worry that would cause inflation to surge.
Former Fed officials and economists, they warn that artificially low interest rates can backfire.
I'm Amy Kiley for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
President Trump has announced a $12 billion aid package for farmers. The money is supposed to help crop farmers beginning early next year. Michael Yoshida reports that farmers say the aid is necessary, but they disagree on where that need is coming from.
A $12 billion aid package to U.S. crop farmers available by February 28, 2026 is good news for struggling farmers. But some don't think it will solve the current crisis they face.
We're in trouble here. And my farm is no exception. During that whole government shutdown and during the issues with the tariffs and China not buying soybeans from the United States, we need the aid now.
Most of the money, $11 billion, will be directed toward crop farmers through one-time payments under the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. The rest will go to farmers whose crops fall outside the umbrella of the assistance program. President Donald Trump and his administration have blamed Biden's administration policies for causing farmers to need assistance.
In the last year, Biden bankruptcies rose by 55%, having to do with farms. So farm bankruptcies under Joe Biden went up 55%, that's not good. But now we're once again in a position where a president is able to put farmers first, but unfortunately I'm the only president that does that.
Many U.S. farmers have been blaming Trump's tariffs for their struggle to make a profit, including soybean farmers who felt the squeeze during a months-long effective embargo by China, once the largest buyer of their crops. Trump says tariffs are actually the reason that aid is available to them, not the reason that it's needed.
This money would not be possible without tariffs. The tariffs are taking in, hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're giving some up to the farmers. Without it, we wouldn't be able to help you.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordell. Watch us on Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.